Okay, hello and welcome to a unboxing video of the Scyrox V8 Superlight mouse. This is going to be the fourth mouse in my lineup of mice that I own, meaning that I own four. I currently own four mice at a time. Usually I sell a previous main mouse to kind of take that money and put it towards a new one if I want to change. But now I have four, and I'll maybe hopefully explain why. I also don't know why I'm making this video, if I'm making it just for the boys or if I'm going to do something with this. So I'm going to save this footage, which I'm currently recording on my GoPro Hero 8, and do something with it later. But anyways, let's get into it, because this is a mouse that I'm pretty excited to receive. It's advertised at 36 plus minus 3 grams, so it's the lightest mouse I've ever owned, and it's hopefully going to be the last mouse that I buy for a while, because it checks a lot of boxes, and it has not been it has been a cool journey to get here. It hasn't always been easy to make sense of this whole mouse market, but I think we're doing good. So let's get into it. This is currently the Scyrox is going to be the fourth mouse that I own right now, but I have basically been trying to figure out what my end game mouse, or what my really preferred mouse style would be, since I built my PC in 2020. I started with a Logitech wired mouse, just something cheap from Staples, and then my first real wireless gaming mouse was the Logitech G502 Lightning, I think it was called. And I knew right away that wouldn't be the mouse that I'd own forever, because despite not knowing anything at the time, so I didn't know where to go necessarily, that mouse would give me like hand cramps, and I knew that something would eventually have to change. And lo and behold, here we are today, 5 years later, and I know now that there's a lot of good reasons why that wasn't the shape for me. So over the last 4 years, I think I've gone through in total 10 mice. I've gone through a total of 10 mice, and I started with the journey started with going towards mice that ergonomically fit my hand better. So I was always looking for something that would be good in a relaxed claw or palm grip. That's always the way that I assume my mouse. Over time, what might start off as being like a finger trip style, super precise, a gaming session always turns into me trying to be a little bit more relaxed, trying to let my arm a little loose because it's tired. Either I grip my mouse too tight or whatever. And the shape is really important. So 2020 to 2022, I experimented with some heavier Corsair, some other brand, I can't recall, but I even went as far as getting the Logitech Logitech Vertical Master MX Vertical mouse to see if that would be a main gaming mouse, and I ran into issues with precise aiming there, and I just kept basically going until I basically bid on the G Pro Superlight. So I had the G Pro Superlight as my main for 2 years, and around November of last year, November 2024, and I know it's becoming a long story, but basically Logitech released the Superlight Dex, the G Pro Superlight 2 Dex mouse, and that got me once again thinking if it was possible to both combine the lightweightness of a mouse with an ergonomic shape that worked for my hand. Because despite the G Pro being really nice and the opposite. Despite the G Pro Superlight that I got in 2023 being very lightweight, still something was off about the shape. I still found myself getting cramped up or tired of the shape, even though it was super helpful to be lightweight. And that mouse was about 57 grams, and things have changed a lot since. So I bid on the Superlight 2 Dex, and I owned that for about 2 weeks before realizing that the slanted shape of it, the slanted profile and shape, because the mouse not only was had a more form-fitted shape for your hand, but it also kind of slanted down to the right. The buttons would, for example, let me just check if I'm previewing this properly on the camera. Yeah, so the buttons would actually be slanted down at an angle like this. So I don't know, I just found that kind of more relaxed grip on the mouse affected my aim, and it brought me back to research I did, or reviews that I read, because obviously I'm not great at doing research, reviews that I read with the vertical mouse, which is that when you remove that tension off of your wrist, when you're placing it horizontally, you have a tension in your wrist that helps your aim. And when you remove that tension, you actually lose some accuracy. And it's true. So I ditched the Superlight decks, the Superlight 2 decks, because it was also a pretty expensive mouse, and kind of came back to the drawing board in terms of finding a lightweight mouse that was ergonomic. And I kind of surveyed my friends as to what they were doing for their ergo mouse, or from their mice, and they were all using a Logitech G703, I think it was. Now, what you're looking at here is the Pulsar X3, and the Pulsar X3 is a lightweight, so it weighs about, if I recall, about 53 grams, I think, around that weight limit. I mean, I'm going to weigh it in a sec, but this is a lightweight version, basically a lightweight clone, almost identical in shape, some slight tweaks to the Logitech G703, which was a very popular mouse among some friends of mine. So I picked this mouse up. I ordered it directly from Pulsar, and that was my first Pulsar mouse. And this was the first time that I really felt like I was closing in on the combination of lightweight, basically the reduction of weight of a mouse being extremely important to me as a parameter, and also the shape being almost as equally important, to try to bring both together. And this was the first time that actually felt kind of possible. Now, when I was using the Pulsar X3, and I was using it happily for a couple weeks, like as of January 2025, this past January, I realized that like there were way more options out there than just Logitech, which I don't know if I'm giving you guys the idea, but I did not know like the wormhole that you can go down in terms of where the market is at with lightweight gaming mice at all at the start of this year. I actually thought that these were all super expensive options, and that you had to pay if you wanted to get anything beyond that was performance beyond what Logitech had to offer. So I thought of Logitech as like the right compromise in terms of value. Now, when I started learning about Pulsar, I realized that wasn't exactly true. Pulsar had some other mice that were out there that had been years that they were released, where they were really making a dent into the market for basically high quality, high quality, warranted, lightweight gaming mice. And I found a shape that was really interesting to me, which was the Pulsar X2H, which was based on their Pulsar X2 platform, except what it has as a special feature is a high hump in the back. And I became very curious about this high hump in the context of this X3, because what I realized is that what's most important to me in terms of supporting my hand and my wrist for the game that I play, which is Apex Legends, which is a lot of movement, like all over. It's really a 360-degree shooter all the time, was the support on my palm at the hump, basically. And that one of my biggest problems with all the previous mice I own, whether they were ergo mouse or not, was whether or not my palm was getting properly supported. So I pulled the trigger on this Pulsar X2H V3. So this is my second Pulsar mouse now, and I bought it in about, I think it was February, March, and this became my main very quickly, because I realized that a high hump, performance, lightweight gaming mouse was all I needed. I didn't need necessarily a full ergo shape like the Pulsar X3. All I needed was that high hump in the rear, and that became my shape. I went on the medium size. This mouse is available in two sizes, in the medium and the mini, and I went for the the medium is the larger size basically, but they're available in medium and mini. I went for the medium size, and I got to say, it was a massive game changer, and I used it for months as my main, being just so happy with the mouse, because I was finally approximating what I thought was going to be my end game. The combination of weight, and I can show you the weight right now, at only 53 grams, compared to Logitech's G Pro Superlight, which comes in, I think, off the rip at 57, if not 67, I have to check. And that with a ergonomic shape, the shape that I had actually been really looking for. Okay, fine. So you think the story's over. After using the medium size for a couple months, I became curious about the mini. People on Reddit and online were saying that the mini really is something that can improve your aim. If you have a smaller mouse, or you use the X2H mini version, you're actually going to see a noticeable improvement in your aim. And basically what I picked it up here is I picked up a used, well, you know, Amazon deals sold as condition, used, very good mouse. And this is the Pulsar X2H Mini. So it's slightly smaller. I don't know if, yeah, it does show, but it is slightly smaller in its profile than the Pulsar X2H. And truth be told, while in the first couple days, I would go back and forth between both, trying to figure out this one giving me more support and giving me a little bit more longevity in a long gaming session. I would go back and forth, and I have concluded, and I had concluded actually, that the Pulsar X2H Mini was the shape for me, and that 5 years of research was coming to a conclusion. And this mouse, just like the Pulsar X2H Medium, is also very lightweight, obviously. It's coming in at 54 grams, and the reason for that is that this is like kind of last year's model, the V1, and this is this year's model, the V3, which they were able to, you know, shave a couple grams off of, and that's why you have two mice that are different sizes, but this one is actually lighter. So that was, I'm like, let's consider that I'm narrowed down now to like 92% what I think I was looking for, because I have been enjoying this Pulsar X2H Mini thoroughly these past couple months. And the polling rate is 1,000, which is amazing. I'd have to pay more to get a higher polling rate, but it's capable, but you don't need it. I play at 360 hertz, and I'm not getting that much of a difference based on my research if I go to a higher polling rate. It's been really great. The battery life is very good. It lasts several days, and I could be using this mouse, I think, forever and be happy. But that brings us to the Scyrox V8. So I happened to notice online somewhere, don't ask me why or how, that there was a basically clone shape right in between the sizes of the Pulsar X2H Mini and the Pulsar X2, kind of a hybrid between both sizes, like right in the sweet spot between both, that was available on AliExpress at a much lower price than Pulsar was, because Pulsar still is a premium product that costs you about 120 to 150 bucks per mouse. Lighter weight, so 36 grams versus the 54 grams that the two are basically averaging. 8K polling for no extra cost. So I had to bite on this and try it out and see what this was about. I had no choice. I ordered it on AliExpress about 2.5 weeks ago. It's taken forever to get here. I've had to wait for a Uni Express delivery that has basically taken a week from the day that they received the package in their possession, and I finally have received it today. So let's go ahead and unbox this thing. I have actually unboxed it already once to be able to take it out, put the skates on, but now we're going to do a full unboxing and just check out this box, how cool it is. So let's go. This, pretty cool. And here is the Scyrox V8. It's ever slightly bigger than a little bit longer, visibly, I think, than the X2H Mini, and a little bit narrower, than the X2H regular size. Here it is. Build quality, I've tested that already. Feels great. The coating feels great. You can look up other reviews online that go into detail on this. I've put the skates on. Thankfully, I nailed it on the first shot, because you only get, really, with these skates, you only really get one shot at this. So I did a good job there. Let's weigh it. I'm gonna zero the scale. Thank you very much. So with the skates on, 41 grams. So not exactly as advertised. Whatever. If I subtract, I basically removed 20% almost weight just from a AliExpress deal. I've taken off 20% the weight of what I thought was gonna be my mouse forever, just like that. That's pretty impressive to me. So I'm pretty happy I did that. Let's see what else is in the box. If I can, okay. So this is probably good for a glass mouse pad, these little dot skates that you can't see, but they're under there. They're included in here. I have a little startup guide, whatever. Apparently it's a web-based software, so I don't even need to install anything on my PC. I can just connect this mouse to my computer, and I can go on the web and be able to adjust all the settings, which is great. 8K compatible, obviously. It is super light. It's right here. And this cool little dongle system with a little matching yellow cable and dongle that I'm obviously going to place. I'm going to try to keep my setup as minimal as possible, but I'm going to place pretty close to get a good signal. So that's it. That's fully the story. I hope that clarifies why I currently own 4 freaking effing gaming mice, each worth, you know, in their own right, at least $100. This one thankfully wasn't. This was $100 Canadian, including shipping, taxes, and everything, just under $100. And if you ask me, and I haven't really tested it intensely yet, but for what you're getting from, especially a company that sells exclusively through AliExpress, it feels solid. I'll give you a little, well, actually, you know what? We can't do a mouse unboxing without doing a click test. So let's do that. Okay, that's done. So that's all I wanted to really show. I wanted to justify to myself and the world and the Almighty himself why I currently own 4 gaming mice, 3 of which are from the same company, why this is the 10th gaming mouse that I've owned in the last 10 years, to the chagrin of everybody that knows me and that I've told these stories to. This is bringing me close. Like, I don't see how I'm going to find, it's unbelievably light. It's just completely ridiculous. I cannot even describe how strange it is that there's 10 grams, but 10 grams feels like the entire world with this mouse. It's almost as if at 40 grams, you're getting close to not holding anything at all. Like as if there's some kind of limit you're approaching where your motor skills can't pick up on there being a weighted object in your hand, and we're approaching it with this. It really feels quite good. I love the color. It's going to work cool with the setup. I'm really excited about it. This video is not going to have any gaming footage or anything. You're not going to see me suck, but I'm pretty excited about this. If it wasn't clear, if I didn't say anything, I play exclusively one game, Apex Legends, and that's what all this hoopla is for. So thank you very much.